Hi, I'm Arne, founder of AcademicLabs, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can easily qualify potential customers. For example, by checking if they're ready for working with a CRO. So let's say we search for antibody-drug conjugates, and we specifically want to find preclinical therapeutic startups. And maybe we can go more specific by, you can select those that have mentioned ADCs as well on their website, for example, so we could build a filter by the submodality. But let's say we're going to focus on those that have maybe a patent in the past couple of years. Well, it's in the last 2 years, if they have 102 companies, we click on AI. I can have two options, either all 102 companies, even up to 1,000 companies, where we do an analysis for each individual company, or we can do 50 companies and up to 50 and create a report. So let's go for that. We select all 50. I select CRO Readiness. We could also do customer fit, and then you also get a draft email, but let's say CRO Readiness. Then we can say we are a CRO, preclinical, specialized in helping these startups with in vitro preclinical or IND enabling assays. We aim to serve virtual biotech companies without in-house lab capabilities, or biotech companies that are not yet working with a CRO on preclinical studies. We can have the AI come up with a query. So based on this input, the AI comes up with a query. And then I would recommend to, if you're happy with that, we could just copy this and put it here, because then it will run the same analysis for each company. So it will then do a search for this query, identify the 30 most recent publications, 30 most recent news articles, the top web pages, patents, grants, and so on. And then we can, in the last step, have a report. For example, let's meet those startups who enter preclinical studies soon, and hence we may need a CRO for this. Justify why. List me as well the startups who have first currently preclinical studies and who may still benefit our services in next steps. And then end with a full page executive summary. Give me a table listing all startups with core how CRO ready seen with a one line explanation. All right, so let's say we want to save this. It's by default on here, so I don't have to type this again. I hit evaluate, and now it will analyze the first 15 results. We could adjust our sorting in different ways. It will do an analysis. It will basically do the following. So let's say I click on Spiria here. We have here the CRO Readiness. We have the same information I've here filled in as well. So if I click on evaluate, it will now take the 10 most recent patents, projects, web pages, and then it will do this analysis. So here you can see what kind of analysis it comes up with. And that's what it's doing for all these 50 companies. And then it's using these 50 companies, prime candidates. So it will do this analysis for each one individually and then use those to generate reports. So by the way, we added a few new capabilities. So we have now more information about who invested in a company. We have more up-to-date information on the funding stage and keep that updated. We'll also keep adding more people in. You might see some duplicates. That's something we're working on to de-duplicate people. In the meantime, let's check. Okay, the report is ready. So you can see here, click to view reports. So what do you get? You have an Excel file. I'll show that in a second, where you have each individual evaluation of a company profile. We have what the input, the report instructions, etc. And then we have an overview. So what are the main findings? Robust demand for this. Many companies are in the preclinical virtual stage. Here you can see what it's using as determinants to identify if it's ready. It can also give you IDs for running a campaign, of course. Flexible next steps. But then this is most important here, which are the priority prospects. So we have here the company names, evidence of preclinical IND readiness, and then you can see justification with a link to the most relevant document. So here you have an idea of which ones are all relevant. So summary, most of them are ideal to engage with. So early preclinical, it might require some extra help. So they may benefit from it, but maybe it's not the top priority. And then the ranking table, we have the score and the justification again, 5, 4, 2, 1. And it explains the score here. And then it says here what was the methodology. So that is something we now have. It took literally a few minutes and a few clicks to generate this. And then you know who best to reach out to. Now let's check that Excel file, pull it up here. So what do we get? We get what was the filter for companies? What was the type of analysis? What was the query link to go back to the results if I want? And here we see the information about each company, about the funding amounts, how many people, and so on. What kind of TA and sub-TA based on the website, modality, a submodality, and then link the profile on the website, for example. And then at the left here, we have our column that explains the CRO readiness. So if we wrap the text, we just increase the size for each. Here we go. Do it in this way. So then we can see for the first one, what's the CRO readiness assessment. And then for the second, and so on. So you basically have an individual assessment of each. So that's basically how it works. All right, I hope this helps. Happy to share more use cases. We're looking for feedback to keep improving this. So just run it. The first time you share the feedback with us, we're going to grant you the credits back of that report. All right, hope this helps and all the best. Bye-bye.